Yo, what's going on guys? Welcome back to a new video. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys a trade breakdown of the trade that I took today live in front of my Discord for a 3RR on the Nasdaq. Moving forward now, I'm going to be posting 1 to 2 trade breakdowns every single week, whether that be a win or a loss. In today's case, we did indeed catch a W. So without wasting any more time, let's go ahead and jump straight into it. So this is the trade that we took. We entered here at 10:02. And the whole reasoning behind the trade is due to, of course, we need to find our narrative on the higher time frame, which I had built up over here due to the fact that we had created 4-hour equal lows, as you can see on the 4-hour time frame. The only thing is though, ES did indeed take those lows, forming an SMT, and that is also our first discounted liquidity pool within that previous week's range. Okay, so it makes sense for price to trade higher from here. So longs were also valid today, and I'll go over the longs as well later on during the video, but the specific trade that I took today was the short, and as you can see, we had the 4-hour fair value gap with a large displacement, of course, on all three assets. We're comparing the assets to each other in the triad to look for the cracks in correlation. Okay, so firstly, we have the 4-hour SMT fill. As you can see, YM has not yet traded above 50% of the 4-hour fair value gap, whereas NQ and ES both have. Okay, so this is our first cracking correlation. Also paired with, I'm pretty confident the high of the week was in on Thursday, due to the fact that if we go to the daily time frame, you can see that we had an SMT fill off that gap there. Okay, you can see that ES did not trade into it, whereas NQ did. So that was our cracking correlation for the open high-low close of that weekly candle. The only bad thing that I didn't like about today's price action for the shorts was the fact that we had a large expansion in the overnight session due to the IRL news events. And as you can see, most, like the bulk of the move probably has occurred today. However, I'm only entering on the 1 minute, so I only need a piece of the move. Okay, so this wasn't particularly the greatest thing, and also we had no wick to the upside. Okay, so the longs were also very valid today, but in the case of the short that I took today was the 4-hour SMT fill as one of our cracks in correlations, paired with a 90-minute bearish SSMT. So as you can see here, this was Q2's high, ran out during Q3 in both NQ and ES ran it out. If we turn on the indicator, you can see, not that indicator, sorry, not the MWOGs, we need my personal indicator. You can see we ran out Q2's highs on both NQ and ES, whereas if we take a look at YM, you can see Q2's highs did not end up getting run out. Okay, we had a failure swing forming right there. So now we've got a 4-hour fair value gap with a bearish 90-minute above stacked opens. Okay, so bearish 90-minute above stacked opens with that 4-hour SMT fill, aligning with those 4-hour equal lows that we've got below us. Okay, so now, of course, you guys know that I like to enter on the 1 minute, so I'm looking for any reason to enter on the 1 minute. So that would either be a 5-minute true chain in the state of delivery, which we had occur all the way down here. So I could have either waited for this and then look for my entry, or if we've got a lower time frame crack, more specifically a lower time frame SSMT, as if you guys have checked out my true chain in the state of delivery video, you would know that we would need to see a SSMT take place before the true chain in the state. Okay, so in this case, before waiting for the whole entire move of this 5-minute true chain in the state to take place, we found a lower time frame crack and entered off the lower time frame TCISD. Okay, so in this case, Q2, Q3, SSMT, NQ running above Q2's high, and ES failing. Okay, so this is a stronger SSMT as well, because it was formed between NQ and also ES, right? So now we're looking for the candle that formed the SSMT. In this case, it was bearish. Okay, so whenever we have a bearish SSMT with the candle closing bearish that formed the SSMT, we're then going to go ahead and use the most recent up close candle before the SSMT. Okay, so the 950 candle right there, and as you can see, we was looking for an entry as soon as we confirmed it. Unfortunately, we did not get tapped in on this leg lower, but then we did have 10 o'clock news manipulating higher, retracing higher into the TCISD, which we can go ahead and write here just so you guys can see it even better. So price trades into it at 10 o'clock. I didn't enter immediately though, because price could have easily just continued just blowing higher, running these highs out. I did wait for the news candle to close and then entered off this candle here. Okay, so this was my entry, a little bit higher up. Stopped on that news candle high. Technically, I would have been more safe if I would have had my stop on the actual invalidation, which would have been the SSMT high. However, that would have affected my RR quite a lot, and I do go for 3R, so I wouldn't have actually been able to take that trade. Okay, So 3RR trade here, stop on that news candle high, entry off the micro SMT plus the TCISD on the 1 minute, and then yeah, basically just let that run. And as you can see, this is where I was calling in front of my Discord for, you know, take profits or break even at that 5 minute CISD level, because price is going to draw towards it. And if we are truly bearish, we're going to obviously end up closing below it, okay? However, if price isn't truly bearish yet, it's going to trade into it and then reject away from it, okay? So as you can see, we did go break even once we hit that 5 minute TCISD level. Of course, the 5 minute didn't change the state yet because it's the 1 minute that's tagging into it. But just to be safe, move to break even. So risk-free trade. As you can see, you know, traded, consolidated around here for a little bit. And then I believe we had a 1 minute SMT fill. Yeah, we did. So another re-entry opportunity here, you know, of the 1 minute SMT fill. As you can see, we had, I think it was ES filling the gap completely. Let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, maybe not quite. Was it YM that gave a SMT fill? Unless we just didn't have one. Yeah, YM did give one here. So you can see that specific gap there that's on NQ and ES was filled completely on YM. You know, we traded above it, so not the cleanest. But it was also there with NQ and ES, okay? Because you can see NQ failed to trade above 50, whereas ES did trade above 50, okay? So another, you know, potential re-entry there, in line with where we're expecting price to head. Excuse me. And then as you can see, price traded towards our TP, okay? So TP got hit there. And then the reasoning behind the longs was, of course, like I showed on the daily chart, no open high really for that daily candle. So, you know, this whole move lower could have been classed as manipulation, because, you know, it's very rare for a candle to close with no wick on either side. So whenever you got price opening up, aggressively pushing lower, and it hasn't traded higher at all that day, then, you know, you could be anticipating that to be manipulation, that move lower. So then that's when you're looking for the cracking correlation in line with that move higher that you're expecting, okay? In this case, we formed a daily cycle. This was also a factor of why I went to break even when I did, because we had YM giving us that daily cycle bullish SMT, okay? So running below London's lows during New York AM, and you can see, of course, NQ and ES were nowhere near, okay? So very clean turtle soup and very clean value swing right there from NQ. So this was a very, very obvious, you know, bullish SSMT. Price then, of course, closed above the TCISD, which was this candle. Did not tap back into it, but it has given a very nice move to the upside. And if we take a look at NQ, the TCISD would be this candle. And as you can see, just ever so just missed it there on that wick lower, but it is now giving that move higher, okay? So yeah, that's pretty much today's breakdown, and also a small breakdown of the longs that we had there. Of course, the 4 hour equal lows did form an SMT. So, you know, it wasn't guaranteed that we'd trade towards these lows. It was just my general idea that was basing my trade around. But remember, you don't need to be right about price, you know, what it's going to do for the whole entire day or even for the next 4 hours. All I need is that quick, you know, 10-20 minute piece of price action, and then I'm done, okay? So, you know, with that being said, hopefully you guys found this useful. And if you would like to see more of these trade breakdowns, you know, I said I'll be posting my wins and losses, because I truly think that you guys will learn more from the actual losses, okay? The wins is just me following a system day in and day out, whereas the losses, I can actually show you guys, you know, where I went wrong, okay? Because it's never going to be, you know, the system's fault. It's always going to be human error. You know, I'm going to make mistakes. So, yeah, so if you would like to see those videos, comment down below. I'd appreciate, you know, all support in this video. If you could drop a like and also drop me a subscription. We're very close to 3,000 subscribers now. So thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Goodbye.